So now I came across this video on a man I'm sure all of you are more than familiar with called Tai Lopez. So let's watch it.
It's like the billionaire Warren Buffett says, the more you learn, the more you earn.
You know what, Ty? The more I learn about you, the more depression I earn in my life. If you've been on YouTube as long as I have, I'm sure you already know who Tai Lopez is. He's solely responsible for selling more subscriptions to YouTube Premium than YouTube itself.
Here in my garage, just bought this new Lamborghini here. It's fun to drive up here in the Hollywood Hills.
The greatest advertiser of ad blocker in the history of mankind. He's the king of courses, and in my opinion, the greatest grifter to ever touch planet Earth. And he's here to suck every single penny out of your bank account and into his own.
Sometimes you gulp a book, sometimes you deep throat it, let all that knowledge juice just guzzle inside you.
So today we're going to be taking a deep dive into Tai Lopez, take a look at his past that he doesn't want you to know about, how he ultimately became rich by telling other people how to get rich, expose all of his crypto and NFT scams, and also talk about some of the positives of his message as well. We have a lot to talk about, so let's get right into it.
Here in my garage, just bought this new Lamborghini here. Fun to drive up here in the Hollywood Hills.
If you've ever had the pleasure of watching one of Ty's videos or listening to him on a podcast, despite how much he loves talking about his past on a farm or living with the Amish, you'll notice he almost never talks about his past in the online dating scene. He'll always brag about the fact that he's been an entrepreneur since he was 19.
I mean, I've been an entrepreneur since I was 19. I've been doing stuff, but more behind traditional business.
But the only reason why he never mentions his past in online dating is because he used to scam people using these online dating websites, and it eventually got so bad to the point where I'm guessing he had to leave the business as a whole. He even makes sure to not mention any of his confirmed past in the online dating scene on his LinkedIn account. You see, Tai used to own a company called Elite Global Dating LLC, and according to my source, which I'll leave a link to in the description, it's alleged that Tai's LLC used to use very similar templates and themes on all of these websites that were all directly associated with Tai Lopez as the owner. If we try and take a look at the reviews for all of these individual businesses, they are all either completely wiped from the face of the internet or flooded with one-star reviews. The scam here was essentially that he would allow people to make an account for free, and then bot accounts would typically message the person shortly after they signed up, saying something generic that could apply to absolutely anyone. But the trick was that they wouldn't let you actually see these messages until you signed up. And then, after people would catch on to the fact that these sites were typically nothing but a scam, they would make it very difficult for the consumers to actually cancel their membership, and sometimes even just continue charging them after they already canceled their membership. Then, after one website had scammed enough people and they got too many complaints to the Better Business Bureau or on other websites exposing the site for being a scam, he would just move on to the next website using the exact same technique and a similar website layout. But obviously the new scam would have a clean slate and no reviews. Despite the fact that Ty's done his best to wipe the entire internet of his past as an online dating con man, here he is speaking at an online dating conference where he's recognized as the founder of datinghype.com.
You know, a lot of the time, you may ask, and people will ask like, they're so good at selling things and socializing with people. Why don't they actually just make a real product? It's because they can't. You know what I'm saying? Like they can't. I mean, if they would, they would. But I mean, obviously, it's just you just get caught up in the quick profit and stuff. But it's always interesting when people who are just scam artists, it's like it's habitual. Like that's just what they do. You know what I'm saying? Like they can't they can't help themselves. It's how they operate.
Obviously, this site was most likely nothing but another scam, so the website was taken down, and now the domain is for sale for only $4,000. Using the Wayback Machine, I was able to find the text they used to use on their website back in 2011, and Tai is explicitly recognized as the CEO of this company.
Therapy for me, I think when the pandemic happened,
datinghype.com. Obviously, this site was most likely nothing but another scam, so the website was taken down, and now the domain is for sale for only $4,000. Using the Wayback Machine, I was able to find the text they used to use on their website back in 2011, and Tai is explicitly recognized as the CEO of this company. This is part of the reason as to why I think Tai is a lying con man who genuinely loves to scam people. To the best of my
Knowledge.
Tai Lopez was in the online dating business in 2008. Instead of constantly scamming people and shifting from website to website like the greedy pig that he is, he could have just founded a legitimate dating website that was actually good and useful, and he literally would have been a billionaire today. He could have been the owner of a company that's actually bigger than Tinder, which was founded 4 years after Tai got into the business, or maybe even Grindr. But Tai chose to scam people, and now he has to try his best to erase his past as a con artist. You can watch.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing too. You know, it's like when it's easy to say like, well, they could have, like, if you think about Charles Pons, any of the people who do stuff like this, it's easy to say, well, they could have just, you know, actually provided a real service or actually made a real business. But think about how much that actually entails. You know what I'm saying? Like ganking people out of their money real quick and running away is a lot easier than coming to work every day and building a product, building a reputation, staying consistent, doing shit when you really just don't feel like doing it. You know, like maintaining relationships, not just with customers, but the people that you work with. You know what I'm saying? Like actually caring about what your business is supposed to do. Like when people do Ponzi schemes, I'm like, well, why didn't they actually invest? Well, think about how much that actually entails to be a good professional investor of other people's money. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to, again, it's a lot easier to scam people. So that that ain't who they are. They ain't got it.
Watch any podcast featuring Tai, he'll never talk about his past as an owner of dating websites. And the scamming and unethical behavior does not stop there. We are just getting started. You see, Tai loves to twist the truth and tries his best to make every possible narrative around him seem as squeaky clean as humanly possible. He even personally released 2 videos with the name Tai Lopez Exposed and Tai Lopez Scam, so he can try and rank at the top when people search for these 2 things on YouTube. Which I'll give him credit for, it's actually pretty smart, but if there wasn't a scam involved with his name to begin with, I'm sure most people would actually like Tai. He's a charismatic and smart guy. I'd be the first person to admit that. But he chooses to be a liar and a con artist. Tai constantly lies about small things in an attempt to make more money.
Recently, someone was like, Tai, can I trust the guarantee? Simple, yes. There's never been a time somebody's want a refund that they haven't gotten their money. I did not create this program to get rich off you.
Bruh. Tai, that is verifiably false. You do realize people can Google this, right? Or how about his TEDx talk, which is a great talk, by the way. He's a fantastic public speaker, no denying that. But here he claims to read a book a day.
But I've continued on that path, traveling, finding mentors, reading. I read a book a day.
Obviously, that's physically impossible.
Yeah, I remember one of the first time I was introduced to Tai Lopez, which was quite some time ago. I mean, he was doing this internet guru stuff. He was like one of the first people I ever seen do it. But I remember one of the things I read a book a day. And even back then I was like, bro, no, you don't. Shut up. How do you retain all that information? 1, how do you have the time? And 2, how do you retain it? Like, no, you don't.
And even if it were truly possible, it sounds absolutely terrible. Or how about when he lies about how long he's going to leave a certain video up in an attempt to create an artificial deadline so he can sell you a course sooner?
Pay attention. I'm not going to keep this video up for long. If you know me, I like to test lots of things.
Thanks for deleting that video, Tai. It's only been about 2,000 days. And to really solidify Tai's reputation as a liar, I think this video sums it up perfectly.
Get a shot of this guy like peeking around the corner here. You've got like 10 people like working around.
All my lawyers were here today.
Doing here?
All my lawyers were here.
These are lawyers you have just standing around?
Yeah. Well,
and you're paying them hourly? Because we've been here for
They're
like 2
they're on
hours.
salary.
Yes, Ethan Klein, back in the day, went to Tai Lopez's home, and instead of just having a normal conversation with the guy, Tai decided to instruct 3 of his lawyers to constantly stalk them around the house to make sure Ethan doesn't ask a question that could possibly damage Tai's incredible and impeccable reputation. So obviously this is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to all of the lies that
I'll be like, bro, what the hell is going on? You got these lawyers following us around. What the fuck?
is put out into the world. But now I want to get into exactly why I think Tai Lopez is a scammer and how he's deceived millions of desperate people around the world to line his pockets further.
Here in my garage, just bought this new Lamborghini here. Fun to drive up here in the Hollywood Hills.
If you had like 3 tips to give me and my audience to like improving our life immediately, what would it be?
All right, 3 tips to improving your life. Number 1, most people don't know what they're talking about, so don't listen to them. Only listen to qualified people, and most people aren't qualified.
Tai Lopez is the greatest, greasiest, and slimiest course shilling grifter of all time. I've said this before, but there's nothing inherently wrong with selling a course. It all comes down to what's being taught, who's teaching it, how much it costs, and what the potential for a decent ROI is on what's being taught. And in my opinion, Tai's way of selling these courses is deeply unethical. The problem comes in when you're selling a course about stuff that you have no idea about in exchange for money. Like when he tried to sell a course on real estate investing, but proved to his entire audience on video in a debate that he doesn't know a single thing about real estate investing.
I'm actually curious about your real estate chops, all right? So give me the formula for a cap rate. Can you define what a cap rate is?
So let's talk about real estate for a second. Let's two.
No. Define the formula of a cap rate. Do you know what a cap rate is?
Absolutely. Cap rate
What
is
is it?
it's like ROI in the stock market.
Wrong.
They call it
No,
cap
it's
rate.
not. No,
it's
give me
very
the
similar.
actual-
In case you don't know what a cap rate is, that's totally fine. But you're most likely not selling other people on the idea of giving you money so you can teach them about real estate investing. To put into perspective how stupid this is, not knowing what a cap
That sums up the con and most con artists right there. Again, there's nothing there. So it's easy to say, why didn't they actually do this for real? Because they couldn't.
cap rate is, and selling a course on real estate investing would be the equivalent of dressing like this and then selling a course on how to pick up girls. There is a foundational issue here that needs to be addressed prior to you selling a course. To put into perspective
That was
how
the dude who made Million Token, and his shit was a big scam.
stupid this is,
What
not
was his name? Tech lead. Or
knowing what a cap rate is and selling a course on real estate investing would be the equivalent of dressing like this and then selling a course on how to pick up girls. There is a foundational issue here that needs to be addressed prior to you selling a course on this topic. There is something wrong with selling a course and then intentionally being as vague as humanly possible in that course with the information that you provide, and use that paid course as a stepping stool to upsell the desperate people that have already paid you into buying a newer and more expensive course from you. Look at this advertisement he used to use for people who had already enrolled in his 67 Steps program. He claims in writing that if you refuse this offer, you're permanently locked out and blacklisted from the mini MBA program for life, which is just ridiculous. If you had clicked no thanks on this, the price would immediately just drop $100, and if you still refused that incredible offer, I have a feeling he'd still gladly sell you the course later down the line. On that note, as I showed you before, Tai uses a lot of completely artificial deadlines as a high-pressure sales tactic to get people to think less and sign up for his courses earlier. I was on one of his course sign-up pages, and I waited until the countdown went down to 0. I reset the page, and the timer just resets. The online training is pre-recorded. It's not live. It does not start at any specific time. It only starts when you give Tai your personal information so he can bombard you with advertisements for the rest of your life.
So
I've counted how many times that he actually emailed me, over 1,300 times. 1,300 times in the last 2 years.
It would be physically impossible for Tai to be an expert on all of the things that he has sold a course on over the years. For example, in 2017, this moron was trying to sell courses on crypto day trading, which, as we'll get into later, is terribly ironic given his track record in crypto. And as of today, a lot of Tai's current arsenal of courses do not even disclose any sort of pricing information to you directly. You have to give him your full name and email address in order to even look at the prices of these courses. I wonder what he's hiding. And the courses he does give the pricing information out for are nothing but courses that cost less than $20, where he's just using that as a tool to upsell you into a more expensive course.
This is exactly what I've been waiting for. This is exactly, I don't mean to sound like Cat Williams,
1,300 times in the last 2 years.
but this is exactly what I've been waiting for.
Tai's only defense for people who call him a scammer is essentially just saying this trash.
Look around you, your whole life's a scam. Everything's a scam. Your job's a scam. Education's a scam.
Yeah, Tai, I appreciate you letting us know that our entire lives are nothing but a scam. Coming from a scammer, of course, I think everything to do with you is a scam. And Tai, as a very self-aware man, is willing to make such a disgusting broad generalization and lie on video about such a thing only because it benefits him. If Tai had simply been a legitimate businessman from day one, as we discussed before, there is a 0% chance he would ever regurgitate such garbage out of his mouth. There will literally be a day where Tai is done losing all possible credibility to the entire human race, and he'll just start selling a course on how to sell courses. If he hasn't done it already, I would be willing to bet $1,000 with anyone watching this video that one day that course will exist. And that one might actually be worth buying, because like I said, he's, in my opinion, the best to ever do it.
Here in my garage, just bought this new Lamborghini here. Fun to drive up here in the Hollywood Hills. But you know what I like a lot more than materialistic things? Be connected!
After Tai's course shilling grift started to dry up a little bit, he very predictably decided to jump into the crypto grift.
I promoted BitConnect.
Got him!
Yet again proving that Tai is literally an AI that was spawned into the planet with the sole intention of sucking as much money out of the general public and into his pockets. So if you guys aren't aware, in 2020, Tai bought the company Radio Shack. If you guys don't remember Radio Shack, basically they used to sell a lot of electronics back in the day.
I didn't know that.
But ironically, the company ended up going bankrupt in 2015 because they essentially weren't able to adapt to the new world of online sales. Tai had the genius, galaxy brain idea to purchase this brand for pennies on the dollar and decided to turn it into a crypto exchange platform.
What?
Tai's strategy to bring relevance back to the brand was essentially to make these really cringy tweets in an attempt to go viral.
Hey Mutar, do you remember when I dug these nuts up your mouth? Hi, now that we finally got your attention, wanna DM us? We've got some AA batteries for your vibrator, you pussy. Crying emoji, laughing and crying emoji.
Planning a family? Check your sperm count.
Yo,
You can test it in your room.
yo, I remember Radio Shack. I used to go there. I didn't know that all of them, you know, we all didn't know Radio Shack our whole lives. And next thing you know, Radio Shack's tweeting about having batteries for vibrators, saying vulgar words. Oh shit. The connection. Hold on. Hold on. The Wi-Fi is failing or something. It's about time for a smoke anyway.
Crying emoji, laughing and crying emoji, laughing and crying emoji.
Oh, guys, look at how edgy Radio Shack is nowadays. Sick.
Knowledge.
Now I'll definitely consent to allowing them to rob me of all my life savings. In typical Tai Lopez con artistry fashion, their token is now down about 98% since its release, which, by the way, was only about 8 months ago. So if you had invested 10,000 USD into Radio Shack's cryptocurrency less than a year ago, you'd have about $200 today.
Damn, that's crazy.
Despite falsely claiming that the Shack is back in writing, thank the Lord they've stopped tweeting as of November 2022 after the project was done robbing everyone out of their money. And according to this screenshot, even just sending messages in their Discord and Telegram is no longer even allowed. And Tai's track record when it comes to cryptocurrencies does not stop there. We are just getting started here. In November of 2021, Tai created what he himself referred to as a logical, fair, and energy-efficient alternative to Bitcoin called Atlas USV. USV meaning Universal Store of Value, of course. They wrote this blog post where they claimed they would be playing 3D chess while everyone...
Listen, one of the biggest signs of somebody who's full of shit too, especially if they're famous, is that they're involved in everything. It's like, you know, most of the time people who are legitimate, they specialize in one thing, maybe a few things. And that doesn't mean they're not involved in a lot, but it's like, oh, I'm an expert in everything and I do everything. Like, oh, okay, you're just trying to get people to pay you. That's all it is. Because all these people are like, I'm an expert in real estate. Then why are you such a huge YouTube presence? Because that's where your money's coming from. Because you can make a lot of money on these platforms. Is selling courses and making money off YouTube ads.
Everyone else is playing 2D. Their white paper is obviously as complicated and convoluted as humanly possible. They claim that their overarching strategy is the Nash equilibrium token defense system, which is just horrific, and in typical Tai Lopez fashion, he makes sure to name drop Elon Musk. On the front page of the Atlas USV website, they used to advertise in writing that USV rewards token holders for staking at over 150% per year. Obviously, this was deleted from their website and is now nowhere to be found, but given the fact that they're playing 3D chess while everyone else in the crypto space is playing 2D chess, I had to put Atlas USV to the test and do some further research using tokensniffer.com, which is essentially an automated audit. And well, would you look at that? 0 out of 100. Okay, well, maybe this site is wrong. After all, they are utilizing their Nash equilibrium token defense system. Well, goddamn, Tai, down about 99% from the all-time high?
Of course.
How can that be? I thought we were playing 3D chess here. I thought this was supposed to be a universal store of value. What happened to our 150% token staking system, Tai? But wait, there's more.
NFTs represent uniqueness, right? And unique access.
In addition to releasing 2 useless altcoins that are now down about 99%, Tai also released an NFT project called the Original Garage Social Club.
In my NFT project, I got 3 levels: silver card, gold card, and the rare, ultra rare black cards.
Oh my god! Wow! He made countless claims, like a certain tier of his NFT holders would get to have dinner with him.
So you're gonna change your social circle over dinner, new group, expand your mind, all while we're eating good food, the best food in the world.
One of them was that if you bought his $50,000 NFT, you would get the opportunity to play him in basketball for $10,000. Or, my personal favorite, for 42 ETH, you're blessed with the opportunity to shadow Tai at his office. And of course, how can we forget the one-on-one ball shaving experience with Tai? Don't you just love how these NFT people consistently prove that NFTs are worthless by adding artificial bonus perks if you buy one of them? I mean, just think of how insane you would have to be to pay more than $20,000 to watch a movie with Tai Lopez, of all people, on this earth. He also claimed that if you buy a certain silver edition of his NFT, you will get access to an NFT members-only hotel, restaurant, and club. That is by far, not even close, the dumbest NFT benefit I have ever heard.
An NFT hotel works so much better. So let me just give you an example.
What do you want?
What? What the fuck is the NFT hotel?
No, Ty, don't even bother giving us an example. Let's just think about this for 1 second. This guy is going to build or buy a hotel, a restaurant, and a club just for people who own this NFT? Why? Where are these things going to be located? When do they open?
He gonna pay for a restaurant, a club, and some, I don't remember what some other very expensive form of real estate that depends on people going there in droves regularly to keep the lights on, right? And not only is it only for crypto, it's only for non-fungible tokens, aka NFTs. And not only is it only for NFTs, it's only for his NFTs. Like, bro, how you're gonna pay for 3 huge kinds of real estate with, you know, over time he just got really bad at this shit. Really, he's just tired. He needs a way out, because he needs a way out, and there's no way. So he's just throwing whatever at the wall to see what sticks.
How are all 3 of these businesses going to maintain profitability if the only possible customers they could ever have are people who bought into this scam? What if they live in a different country? Hypothetically, even if he did actually build these businesses, imagine 2 years down the line going to a nightclub with only Tai Lopez NFT owners. There would be 0 women there, maybe 1. And I'm not only saying that because only men buy NFTs, I'm saying that because there would only be 2 or 3 people there in total. It would just be a few nerds who haven't showered in weeks asking, "Yo bro, did you see that new Bored Ape Reddit Alpha Charlie Brown collab? Dude, check out my new Crypto Zoo egg. It just hatched into this shark gwyn, dude." Like, come on, Ty, how could you have possibly ever thought that this could be a good idea? It was never possible for this to work, yet he still went on and lied in writing about something that he would never do. This should be illegal. I even reached out to Ty personally to see if he had any updates on these fraudulent businesses he claimed would be opening up. Unfortunately, he did not respond because there's nothing for him to really even say. He lied his way to stealing more than $1 million from the general public with this project. And if we take a look at this project from the consumer's perspective, it's not doing so well. Obviously, the lies don't stop there. This is just the tip of the iceberg with this project, but I think you get the point by now.
Here in my garage, just bought this new Lamborghini here. Fun to drive up here in the Hollywood Hills.
Look, I see major benefits in Ty's general message and some of his advice. He's in great shape, he's a great public speaker, he's charismatic and smart, and he's now objectively successful and rich, and he's one of the best internet marketers of all time. But he's also a lying con man, as I've just shown you. But one thing I will say about him that's a huge positive is that Ty has recommended great books in the past, and Ty's probably inspired millions across the world to pick up a helpful book and read it. But despite the fact that Ty has inspired millions to read, Ty himself doesn't even read books. He skims them.
But sometimes books only have 1 or 2 things that are worth reading. In fact, most books only have that. So I have flipped through the page.
The fact that he just said that is very evident that he doesn't read books. Most books only have 1 or maybe 2 things at most that are worth reading. Like, yeah, you definitely don't read, because there's the book I mean, most of the books I've ever read, even if they're fiction, if they're well written, there's something. Yeah, this guy doesn't read. He's a fucking con artist.
Pages one time. I like to go through 3 times. First time I read the table of contents, the back. The second time, go a little faster. The third time, I just focus on 1 chapter.
And if you're reading...
But how do you even know what you're doing at that point? Oh, I just glance at the table of contents. Oh, well, I know it's in this book, therefore. Like, what he just said is you can't do that. Like, you don't... No, what he just said is completely nonsensical. You can't just briefly look at he said, I read the first page, then I read the back, and then after that, I somehow know everything that's in it. And then I'll just what are you talking about? Do you have laser scanners or some shit? Like,
a good quality self-help book, for example, Think and Grow Rich, I could tell you in one sentence the entire point of the book. But for you to actually benefit from the
knowledge
in this book, you need to actually read Napoleon Hill's words from front to back. And guess what? You can get all of the original versions of Ty's repurposed information that he sells for money in those same types of books that he recommends. Tai is nothing but an unnecessary middleman who sells courses on anything that's popular at the time, while unironically trashing college for being an unnecessary middleman.
But I'll tell you what I think is closer to a scam. Getting people to put in $47,000 a year when they don't even know what they want to study. Why not cut out the middleman?
What he
and
won't
then again, the problem with that message and why I get so frustrated with that message, no matter who pushes it, yeah, there's problems with our collegiate system. There's problems with our education system, but you can't, but then what? It still works the way it works. Our job market still works the way it works. So it's like, well, you hear a lot of younger people say that who haven't, really experienced a lot out here. They'll be like, well, that's a scam. Like, okay, well, you saying that doesn't change anything. So
ever tell you is that if you simply have a library card and a connection to the internet, you could gain the knowledge to be able to better your life without spending every penny you have on some disproportionately overpriced course that he refuses to even disclose the price of. What Tai Lopez won't tell you is that a majority of his income is from people who are easily manipulated and are desperate, who think that there is some magic secret to success. So yeah, Tai's repurposed information that he sells can absolutely help you. He basically used that information to become the man that he once pretended to be. But that's just what I think. I'd love to know what you guys think in the comment section down below.
Yeah, and again, Tai Lopez is old, but I thought that was interesting. Would be interesting to go over because I hadn't seen it. I saw it this morning, and two, you kind of get a full look at it, kind of how that thing goes.